G'day all, welcome back to Built by Chris. In this episode I'm going to be making a corner cutting jig for the bandsaw. I was at Timbecon today and I spoke to Sam who works there, and he asked whether this could be achieved. Whether I could turn one of these square ones into an octagon one. A lot easier for turning. So I thought, yeah, I'll give it a go, Sam, no problem. And I came up with this. Now, I jumped onto YouTube as I normally do, and I found only a couple of videos that do the same kind of thing. So I'm not going to claim this as my own, but I have put my own spin on it, and it's certainly going to be a welcome addition to the workshop. So if you want to see how it all came together, follow me and I'll show you how easy it was. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the base of this again from the blade to the outside. And that is 250 mil. Let's call it 250 mil. And I already know this is 400 from the last jig I did. Plus I got it all written on here still. So now I'll go cut myself a base to that size. A little bit oversized because I want to run it through and give myself a zero clearance when I do it. So I'll cut it to 260 and then I'll come here and I'll cut it down to size. Okay. As with all my other ones, I'm going to use a little piece of form ply again for the base because it slides really nice on these cast iron tops, of which my bandsaw has one. So I'm just going to set my my fence to 260 and I'm going to do a rip cut. Okay, there's the base ripped to 260. Now I just got to cut it to 400. I'll do that on my miter saw. And I'll see you over at the bandsaw again. Okay, back over here at the bandsaw. Let me pop this down here. Now I'm going to flush it up with this side. Make sure it's relatively straight. It doesn't have to be critical. And I'm going to make a couple of marks where this miter slot is, like that. Because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach a runner to this, and then I'll be able to cut this down to size. There's the marks I made on my bandsaw where the miter slot is. Now I've just got a length of runner left from my previous jig, and funny enough, it's actually cut to the exact length that I need. So luck is involved sometimes. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to transfer these marks to the front of the jig, or the top of the jig, or the bottom of the jig, whichever way you're looking at it. Again, this isn't critical. None of this is critical. And I'm just going to make another mark here with the pencil. So that's where my runner is going to be attached. Right there. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, what I've done, I've just gone ahead and I've pre-drilled some holes in here, pre-drilled some holes and countersunk them in here. I've got the melamine glue ready to go. I'm just going to stick that down and screw it down. What you should do before you screw this thing down is make sure you got it the right way around. Otherwise it's not going to be very square. Now it doesn't really matter if it's not square because you're going to square it up on the bandsaw anyway, but you want to make it as close as possible. So let's try that again and chock that down to a bit of an oops. Now I'll just get a rag and clean up this squeeze out and move on to the next step. Okay, what I've just done is I've put a positive stop on here again, so that when I run it into the bandsaw, it will hit against the bottom of the table and stop, won't go any further, which is what I need. Now, the next step for me, or the next thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to route out 3 dados through here. One of them will be to accept a T-track, so I can lock it down, because this next part, the next fence on this is going to be movable. And the other two are going to be slide guides or miter guides, basically. So I'm going to so it won't rack anyway. It'll just go in and out nice and straight. I probably don't need to do 3, but I'll do it anyway. So let's go set up the table saw for that cut. Okay, here's the setup for my next cut. I've already got everything locked down nice and tight. I made some marks on the front of the jig here as to where I want that dado to go through, and I've already set it all up. I've set the height of my dado stack to the height of my T-track. So all I've got to do now is just run it through and cut it. So let's do that. Okay, there's the cut. There's the T-track, which I shouldn't have pressed in, it's going to get hard to take out. What I want is a nice tight fit here, because I don't want this one to move. So that'll go in beautifully, it'll be nice and tight. Once I screw it down, she's not going to move. Now, my next setup is I'm going to run 2 grooves, or 2 dados down here as well. But these are going to be 1/10 of a mil wider, because I want that T-track to slide in there. Because I've got an idea, instead of cutting down runners, I'm going to use my T-track as a runner down here. So what I'm going to do now is just raise my blade up again, put a shim in there that'll open that up a little bit, and then I can cut the 2 dados here. So let me set up for that and I'll get back to you. Okay, the setup I've got now is, this is about 0.2 of a millimetre wider than the T-track, and I've got it cutting just a hair deeper, so that it does sit below it. And that's same as with any miter slot. If there's any dust or anything in there, it's not going to foul these up. So I'm just cutting it a little bit deeper. So I've got it all set up. I've got it marked 100 mil from here to here is 100 millimetres. So I'm just going to run it through on both sides. Now, it's not going to be exactly centered because I've got my stop block there, which means, and this is 7 mil, so it's going to be about 7 mil out on one side, but you know what, it's a jig, who cares. So let's, let me run those 2 pieces through now, those 2 cuts. Okay, now again, this one is going to be nice and tight, which I don't want it to move. And this one is going to be a nice slidey fit in there. That's beautiful. There's a little bit of plane there, but not much to worry about. Alright, so now I've got to make the top part of this, the most important part of this jig. So let's go ahead and do that. Righto, next part of the jig is the sliding platform. This sliding platform is going to move this way across the jig. This jig will go into the bandsaw this way, and then this slides up to the blade, because it has to accept this. This is just aluminium angle line, and I'm going to be attaching it at a 45-degree angle to this top piece. Right, so I need to cut it down. It doesn't need to be as wide, plus I need to put a 45-degree on here, which the best tool for that is going to be my table saw, so I'll need to set that up, and then I'm going to screw that to that, and then we're pretty close to finishing this off. So let me set up, I'll cut this down, get this ready, and I'll show you the next step. Okay, I'm set up for the cut here. I've set this to just a measurement that I've plucked out of my head, but if you're after a number, it's 170 millimeters, and I'm just going to rip this down. Now I've got one of these little jiggers here, which makes getting an angle spot on very, very easy. All I do is I put it on my bench, zero it out, and then pop it on the blade. There we go, spot on, 45 degrees. Well, I'm just going to set it up so that it cuts a little piece off. And let's run it through. There we go. Right, there's my piece cut, 45 degrees, doesn't matter that. So now my next step is to screw that to that. Like so. Like so. Actually, before I screw this to this, I made myself a big mistake here. I have to cut a notch out of here to accept my bandsaw blade. So let's go do that. Okay folks, I've gone ahead and I've cut out that notch. I just did it on the bandsaw because it was the quickest way to do it. You can use anything, you can use hacksaw, a jigsaw, you can do it on your table saw if you've got the right setup. You can do it anywhere, even on your miter saw if you've got a stop on it. You can stop the height and it'll cut right down to where you want it to cut. But anyway, there it is. So now all I've got to do is just pre-drill a couple of holes and I'm going to attach it to this. I've gone ahead, pre-drilled this piece, marked the holes where they have to go, and to give myself a fighting chance at aligning this nice and straight, I'm going to push it up against my the table saw fence. I'm going to use a little bit of super glue, a little bit of CA glue in there, on here, and I'm going to spray it with some activator so that it grabs it nice and quick. And then I'm just going to pre-drill all the holes. So let's go ahead and do that, eh? And I'll just hold it there for a sec. Okay, that's holding. I don't want to muck around with it too much. That's holding, so now I'll get my drill and I'll pre-drill the holes and I'll drive some screws in. Always do up your super glue, otherwise it'll dry out. Okay, I've pre-drilled the holes. Now I'll drive some screws in. Okay, those two will hold it and I'll just put the rest of them in. There it is. Now, next thing I've got to do is drill a hole through here so I can put in the bolt that'll ride in the T-track on the other piece. So let's get set up for that. Alright, I've gone ahead, I've attached that. As you can see, I've popped my T-track in here. I've got my, my bolt, which I'll just throw in there like so. And then I'll just put this on top of here. And that'll be my adjustment. I can move it in and out. Now, for those of you who have an eagle eye, you'll notice there's another hole here. Now, I've been making this jig for a couple of hours now and everything's been going all right. I made a mistake here or there, but I drilled this in the wrong place because Dirk from Sumo's Projects decided to ring and I wasn't concentrating. I was talking to him and I drilled the hole in the wrong spot. So thank you very much, Dirk from Sumo's Projects. I owe you one. Anyway, next thing I've got to do, I've got to put the two pieces in there like that. I've even forgot what they're called. T-track in there like that, one on either side, so that stops it racking, because as you can see, I can rack it and I don't want to do that. So that's just going to slide out. I just want to make sure that it moves nice and straight. Bandsaw blade comes in here. Everything's coming together. Let me get set up for this and I'll put these on. Okay, same principle applies here. I put some washers in to raise these above the top of the sled here. I'm going to put some super glue on here and I'm going to spray some activator on here. That way it'll grip straight away. and I'll be able to put some screws in. So let's go ahead and do that. Now I'll just line it up and drop it down. There we go. Give that a second. Okay, they're both stuck on there nice now, and I'll take it over to the drill press. No, I won't. I'll just do it on the bench. Let me get set up and I'll be right back. Alright, T-track is on. Let's test it out. Right, I've drilled all the holes in the right spot this time. Everything's mounted. Let's see how it runs. Rub on there. Runs nice and smooth, beautiful. Lock it down, and it's not moving anywhere. All right, let's go over to the bandsaw and see how it works. All right, let's pop the jig into the bandsaw. There we go, right up to that. That's beautiful. Now, here's a blank that I've got. It's a camphor laurel blank. Just sits in there like so. Now I move this over until I'm cutting off just that edge. So let's lock that down and let's give it a test. Well, now, I'd say that is a success. I'd say that is a success. Another handy jig added to the collection to make life a little bit easier. And there you have it. One corner cutting jig for the bandsaw. Turn one of these into one of these. Very simple to put together. I thought it was a fairly simple construction. Like I said, there was a couple of videos on YouTube making the same sort of thing, but again, I put my own spin on it, so I'm going to claim this one as my own. If you liked what you saw, if you thought the video could help you, give it a thumbs up. Leave any comments if you think I can improve it in any way. I'll read all the comments. Let me know. And with that, I'll leave you with this video, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye for now.